I love the Lord, He's filled with compassion. He turns to me on the day that I call from the snares of the dark. Oh Lord, save my life, be my strength. Hello fellow travelers, welcome to the YouTube channel, A Whisper in the Wind. Just this morning, my younger sister made her first profession, temporary profession in the religious life. Yes, I am a Catholic, but I am open to dialogue with other faiths and other ways of thinking. Okay, so that's why they were singing that song during that profession, and it's somehow related to our topic today. Our topic right now is has a very unique title. It's entitled "Of Tug-of-Wars and Washing Machines." Okay, so why tug-of-wars and washing machine? Okay, there's a car that is moving backwards. I don't know where it is going. Okay, so it's something related to relationships. Relationships between people is a mystery, and when we enter relationships, we enter not knowing everything. We learn along the way as we go through the relationships, no? And because it is a mystery and it's something that we have to learn along the way, it's very common that some people get traumatized in relationships, or sometimes even victimized in certain relationships. In their response, or in their attempt to be able to survive in such a toxic relationship, or to be able to survive from the experience that they had, the traumatic experience that they had, they tend to develop certain strategies in order to cope, in order to protect themselves. And sometimes the strategies that they develop, the strategies that they use, deprive them of the possibility of enjoying a relationship that is filled with unconditional love. Okay, so what kind of examples am I trying to share with you? These are examples where, for example, a person would have a relationship with somebody wherein one of the partners will be giving about 80% to the relationship, while the other would only give 20%. So what happens? It develops a certain dynamic of relationship where the one who gives the 80% feels deprived of the love and of the feels deprived in the relationship. And then because he feels deprived, he feels starved, or he feels thirsty for more, he keeps on running after the other person who only gives the 20%. So he keeps on running until it comes to a point when the person becomes tired, and then he withdraws and stops giving the 80%. Now the one who got used to receiving 80% and only gives 20% suddenly longs for the 80%, and the other one starts running after the other one. So it becomes a dynamic of tug-of-war, where one moment one would only give a small percentage, the other will run after the other one because he's giving more, and then afterwards he gets tired and starts withdrawing, and so the other one will start running after the other, and it becomes a tug-of-war going back and forth. So that's one example, that's one strategy. Other persons, because they have been hurt in the past, would try to juggle relationships. So what they would do? They would usually have more than one relationship at the same time. So for example, they will have an option of 3 people at the same time, try to juggle them, try to make sure that the other will not find out that they have another option. And so they feel safe, because if, for example, the first relationship doesn't work, I still have the third or the second relationship. Or if they have 5 relationships, then they still have 4 relationships that they can fall back to. So what happens? So they are not able to give 100% of love 100% of love to the people that they are juggling. And so what happens, these people become starved and they keep on running after it. So it becomes a tug of war again. And at the same time, the person who is juggling becomes tired because they are dividing their love and their attention to 5 people or to 3 people. And they become tired, they become guilty because they know they are not being true to their partner. And such relationships such as this becomes like a very, very tiring relationship. It's like being caught together with their partner in a washing machine, and they keep rolling inside the washing machine and they couldn't get themselves out. And the relationship becomes very tiring, very toxic, filled with guilt, filled with pain, filled with thirst, filled with longing, filled also with lack of trust, lack of faith with each other. And sometimes also there's another kind of relationship wherein the person, to protect themselves, no longer care about the other person. They will just choose a partner in the relationship, who would give them what they need. So for example, as long as this person gives me what I need, I will continue on staying with this person. When this person can no longer give me what I need, then I will look for another person who would give me what I need. So it becomes a one-sided relationship, and it becomes another toxic cycle. And we find ourselves in a relationship wherein you're like in a washing machine, and the possibility of having an unconditional relationship where people love each other unconditionally, where one can feel safe, where one can feel secure, where one doesn't have to worry that they will lose the partner anytime, becomes impossible. It becomes like a unicorn that it's just like a dream, like a myth. And once they get convinced with it, they settle with something less when they could have more. And because somehow it makes them feel better, sooner or later they share it with other people who encounters problems also in relationship, and so it becomes a terrible cycle. It gets passed from one person to another, and sooner or later we see a lot of people having toxic relationships in the end. But I think there is an alternative. There is a solution to such problems. That you can get rid of the tug-o-wars, and you can get rid of all this. You can get out of the washing machine, but it has to start with something very important. There's an important element in it. If you would look at my second video, the one where I spoke about closed doors, I said something about you are the source of your happiness. Now I would like to rephrase that statement. The source of happiness is in you. I think that would be a better statement. The source of happiness is with you. So I will talk about this possibility of having a kind of relationship where you can get out of toxic relationships like tug-of-wars and washing machines. So what is it? Okay, I'll make an analogy about it. For example, building a relationship is like building a table. Okay. So if you build a table with only 2 legs, the table would be very it's an unstable table. The table is unstable. Just a short gust of wind and it will fall down. Why? Because 2 legs of a table is not enough to support the table, unless the 2 tables are big. The 2 legs are big. Anyway, but I mean, normally 2 legs are not enough to support the table. It needs another leg, at least another leg, or maybe 4 or even more. So what is this third leg? That is the presence of the divine, the presence of God. Other people would say the presence of the divine presence, or if, for example, you do not believe in God, if you are a Muslim, the presence of Allah in your life. If you only believe in nature, in the universe, then the presence of this oneness with the universe, or oneness with the spirit, with the energy. Or if you are somebody who does not believe in you are not sure, and you just decided not to believe in anything, something like that. Sometimes when you get to a point when you feel alone and you do not know if there's really someone there who can help you, and you found yourself in a situation that is like in a toxic relationship, it's like trying to poke a tree with fruits, hoping that maybe something will fall. So if, for example, you are at a point where you are at a loss, you feel alone, but you do not believe in the presence, divine presence, you can always say, I don't know if you exist, but if you exist, please help me because I really need help. I think that will be enough already. The important is that surrender, that kind of surrender, knowing that you cannot do it alone. And I think that is the most important thing. So, when you put God, because I'm a Catholic, I put God, you can call him any which way you want, universe or energy. When it becomes part of your life, when that the divine, that unseen presence becomes part of your life, then the table becomes more stable. Why? Because it becomes part of your life, part of your partner's life, and somehow the relationship becomes stable. And if the relationship between you and this third presence, divine presence, is there, you start to imbibe the presence, the productive presence of that unseen presence, who is very creative in nature. And sooner or later, you produce something. It could be a child. It could be the product of the love that you are sharing with each other, which overflows to the people around you. And then it becomes very productive. You become productive. You develop a fourth leg of the table. Now, how could we practically put it like this? Okay. For example, you are in a toxic relationship, and because of this toxic relationship, you become separated from your loved one. And as if you do not want to continue anymore your relationship with your loved one, but even if you already decided to detach yourself from that loved one, there is that longing because you have been separated from their loved one and you don't know what you want to do. Okay? And you feel that everything is falling apart, everything is falling down. It's a wonderful moment for you to surrender yourself to that divine presence, to learn to surrender yourself to God. It's a moment, a grace moment for you to have a transformation in your life. Because when you come to a point when you are already hopeless and you don't know anymore what to do in your life, you are reminded that you cannot do it alone. And oftentimes when you are in such a problem already, you realize that the more you try to solve it, the more it gets worse. And then you realize, I really cannot solve it alone. And then you become aware of this divine presence and you find yourself surrendering yourself. This is a grace moment. This is the time for you to put this third element into your relationship so that your relationship will be more stable. Actually, it would be nice if you before you start your relationship, you already have a good relationship with this unknown presence, which is God. Anyway, if you found yourself in a toxic relationship, it's a grace moment for you to surrender yourself to the presence of God. And then you surrender yourself, you ask God, Lord, I don't know anymore what to do with my life. I surrender myself to you. Please solve everything for me. I am willing to cooperate with you no matter what you do. And then you surrender yourself to Him, allow Him to guide you. Now what will happen to your partner who is far from you? Entrust him to you. And trust him to God. And trust him to God and say, Lord, please take care of my partner. I am separated from my partner. Please take care of him. As you change me, please change him too for the better. I entrust to you my future. I don't know if I am supposed to journey with my partner through my lifetime, or am I only supposed to journey with him up to a certain point just so that I would grow and that maybe something will be waiting for me at the end. I do not know where anymore. I just entrust myself to you and I entrust my partner. Change us both. Oftentimes, if that partner is really meant for you, you have a certain bond wherein what happens to you also happens to your partner. as the Lord transforms you, your partner will also be transformed. As you undergo transformation, your partner will also undergo transformation. But it will depend, because we are given this gift of free will. We are given the choice to be docile, to be humble, to respond to God so that we can be changed. So it depends also. But what I know, what experience has taught me is that if you surrender to God and make Him part of your life, sooner or later, everything will happen. Everything will turn out for the best. And it would be a grace moment for you to realize that really, for you to be able to have a healthy relationship where both of you will learn to love each other unconditionally, the presence of God, the presence of the divine should always be part of your relationship. I wish I had more time to expound on it, but just take it. If those who feel or resonate with this sharing, then take it. Those who are not yet ready, or those who at this time cannot resonate on it, it's okay. It's okay. Maybe it's not yet meant for you. But this is what I would like to share with you. If you would like to get rid of toxic relationships where there's a tug-of-war or a washing machine dynamic, the best thing is to surrender yourself to the divine. Surrender yourself, allow yourself to be transformed by the divine, and trust your loved one to the divine and allow him to transform your loved one to the divine. It's going to be a painful process, but if you cooperate and if you humbly allow yourself to be transformed, a bright sky will be awaiting you at the end of the rain. So, wherever you are right now, whether you are in a tug-of-war or a washing machine situation, I know you are in pain, and I know it is really very difficult. But always remember that you are not alone, and that somebody is always there. You are loved. Well, that is for now. I hope somebody or some people will be able to benefit from the sharing. May God bless all of you always. Until next time. Bye-bye.